Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Gomez, good morning.
Morning.
I want to ask you for your perspectives about a group of Superfund sites, the more than 500 abandoned uranium mines on the Navajo Nation. I've discussed these frequently before this committee. I want to get your perspective on how we address this issue. First off, as you may know, the Navajo Nation is spread across 3 states, actually 4 now with a little purchase in Colorado. The majority of the nation, it's in Arizona. It's about the size of West Virginia, the Navajo Nation in Arizona, but it stretches into both Utah and New Mexico, as well as, and there are abandoned mines in all 3 states, more than 500 of them. And as you may also know, those 3 states are all served by different EPA regional offices. Arizona's Region 9, Utah's 8, New Mexico's Region 6. And while Region 9 is the lead office for all issues on the Navajo Nation, we've run into issues because of this split jurisdiction. For example, mines just off of tribal land are coordinated through other regional offices. And often it's other EPA regional offices in New Mexico or Utah that have relationships with hazardous waste landfills and contractors and responsible parties to carry out this mine cleanup. Mr. Gomez, are you aware of other similar instances where a group of Superfund sites stretch across EPA regions?
That's a really good question, and I'm not aware that that is the case, but we can look to see if other tribal nations, right, are sort of spanning across multiple EPA regions. But at this point, I can't recall of one, but we'll double check.
Okay, and so Congress has periodically established geographic offices at EPA to help carry out programs within a region that faces similar issues by virtue of geography, including the Great Lakes Office or the Chesapeake Bay Office. When it comes to Superfund cleanups, what role have these offices played in helping to coordinate CERCLA efforts in a more streamlined fashion?
Yeah, I'm not sure that we've done work on that, but we can look at that. So I am obviously very familiar with the Great Lakes Office, as you noted. That's a separate office as well. And we can look to see, to the extent that they've worked with the EPA Region 5, in this case, for the Midwest, to see whether they go back and forth and share information. That's a good question.
Yeah, I think my sense is that they probably do.
Okay.
Another challenge that has been faced in cleaning up the Navajo Nation mines is that the remedial actions identified for mine sites are extremely costly and it's technically challenging. In many instances, the preferred solution would require digging up hazardous waste rock and transporting it hundreds of miles to a waste repository. And this seems like a classic case of needing to find a new and different technological solution to address this kind of cleanup. So, Mr. Gomez, what tools and authorities exist within the Superfund program to help accelerate research and development efforts to find new and more efficient and more cost-effective site cleanup methods?
Sure. I mean, so currently the Office of Research and Development at EPA is the one that does a lot of that research that the Superfund program relies on, for example, on toxicity studies, on research on new technologies to make sure that the remedies are working as intended. So there are those opportunities there that are currently taking place and go back and forth. And you are right that mining sites are the sites that are very costly. So in our past work, when we've looked at the cost to remediate sites, mining sites are pretty high because of the things that you talked about in terms of having to dig it out, transporting the waste, removing it off-site, then treating it. So those are challenges for EPA.
Well, it's good that you, at EPA has research and development efforts underway to solve challenging problems like this. I'll note that a lot of the West faces very similar issues to what we're seeing on the Navajo Nation. And I think the entire region could benefit from the expertise of a geographic office, like the Great Lakes office. So that's why Senator Lummis and I introduced legislation called the Legacy Mine Cleanup Act, which would authorize an Office of Mountains, Deserts, and Plains at EPA to address issues unique to the western United States. So, Madam Chair, I know we've had a good conversation with your staff, and I hope to find a path forward for this legislation through the committee process here in coming weeks.
Take a look at it. Thanks.
Thank you.